We're 100% ready, so I can start whenever.
Yep, you can count yourself in.
All right. Oh my God. If I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna do it. All right. 3, 2, 1, action. Hakuna Matata, Indianapolis. This is the Rise and Royalty podcast, powered by Numbers Media, and we're live in Circle Center Mall. All right, King, let them know what's your name, where you from, and if you're feeling bold today, how old you are.
Okay, my name is Gideon Adiola Kombi. They call me G1. Yeah, I'm born in Nigeria, Lagos.
Lagos, Nigeria. I remember. We had a short form, so I definitely got to get this information, but this one's definitely for the viewers.
Okay.
So I'm actually going to start out with some quick questions, so that people can get a real feel for who you are.
Okay.
All right. First one is a no-brainer, of course. Drake or Kendrick?
Kendrick.
All right, we're ops. So cake or pie?
Cake.
All right. I like cake. I mean, definitely more options. So chips or candy?
I like chips.
We were starting off a little rough. Now we're bringing it back. Okay. Jordan or Nike?
I like both, but I like Nike.
All right. I'm losing you. So do you call them bows or pounds? It's okay. We'll leave that one out. We don't have to. We'll just keep that on the inside. You know what I'm saying? So let's get down to business.
Okay.
What's your mission?
As an artist?
What's your mission? Yeah. I mean, the first thing that comes to mind. You can say as an artist, as a man, as an individual, a human being. What is your mission? My
mission is to change the world positively.
Change the world positively.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. Mm-hmm. For real, I like that. So, what's keeping you from succeeding? Yeah,
I think maybe slowing things down before, but right now I'm hitting it hard.
I mean, that's what's up. I like that. Well, if there was a person that could help you change the narrative of, the direction of whatever your mission might be, what would you say to that person? How would you get them to believe in the future of helping you change the world in the most positive way?
Okay. Let's say it this way. I will explain it better, and at least I'm going to sell myself the way I'm going to convince the person.
Well, I mean, go ahead and tell people, because I feel like right now we don't know who's going to see this. So it's like, if you sell yourself right now, speak to the viewers, let them know, hey, this is how we're going to make the world a better place.
Okay.
Go.
Okay. Like me, I like to rap in Yoruba, that's my dialect, and Pidgin English, and I mix it with English. So some people say that rap is no more valuable in Nigeria, but like me, I say rap is still the strongest.
That's legit.
Because as a rapper, you have to think different things at the same time on 16 bars. But singing, you don't need that. You just need maybe like verse or like one chord, stuff like that. But you need some things to join together in 16 bars.
That's real.
Yeah.
That's real. So I definitely think that by breaking down the difference in how intricate, certain music types is, you definitely could help you sell yourself. But I personally think if, Bill Gates is standing in this room right now and he's like, okay, tell me how you can make the world a better place. One of the first things that I would probably bring up is what music matters to him.
Okay.
Like music, for me, might be different than music for the average viewer. Music for the average viewer might consist of, them talking about how, the words resonate with them. They might talk about how, they feel like they can't go anywhere without music. Like they hear music in the malls, they need music on their phone. They need music in their car. You know what I'm saying? So in the future, I think if you are marketing yourself, because you never know who you're talking to.
Yeah.
You never know who's going to view this. You never know who's going to see it. The reality is, if you want them to believe in the positivity that you say that you can bring to the table, then that's probably definitely like an angle you need to think of. Like, okay, well, why do they like this? Why do they think that, why would they think that this is beautiful? And how can I prove to them that it could change the world? Because everybody's connected through music. I mean, don't you agree?
Yeah.
For those who don't know, Rise and Royalty Podcast is powered by Numbers Media Group. If you have a podcasting idea or you just want to network, you want to lock in with us, go ahead and reach out to us using our contact information in the description below. I definitely think I don't have any friends that don't listen to any music at all. Like, I don't even think, I know that there's people who don't really listen to music. I just don't know any of them.
No. Me too.
Thanks. So how long have you been making music?
Since 2004.
2004.
Yeah.
So like, you mean to tell me, and I'm 26, so I might not remember this correctly, but you mean to tell me when like Usher and Chris Brown was going hard, then you was like, oh, I'm about to drop a tape.
Yeah.
That's what's up.
I've been doing music since 2010, like recording since 2010.
So you started writing in 2004, but what were you doing with your music before you started, like, actually
going to studio, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've been rehearsing. I have a group before. Yeah, I have a group. They call it The Immortal, because I started from hip hop. I started before moving to gospel. So when I moved to gospel, so I have a group. We are 4, so they call us the Immortal. So those times, that's what I've been doing. But after that, I was like, okay, I don't want to be in group anymore. I want to be on my own.
I mean, what made you not want to be in a group? I mean, would you just wake up and you're like, nah, being in... Were you just like, being in a group isn't something that you want? Was it something that was like, that for you was not advantageous? Was it costing too much? Was there bad chemistry?
No, that's not what was happening then. The group, some separated, some left. So that is why I'm alone. Some people move out of the state. So before me too, I move out of the state. So that's why I'm no more in the group.
That makes sense. I can definitely understand it. I personally have had a couple groups in the past. I personally have left a couple groups in the past. Every group that I've ever been a part of. In fact, the reason why the Rise and Royalty Podcast now exists here today, of course, which is powered by Numbers Media, then the reason that this podcast exists today is because 4 years ago, I started my own group because I was tired of joining people's groups over and over again, watching them fall apart, and essentially watching my career fall apart. Like somebody else has all the connections and they're the ones setting up all the shows, or, we're doing everything together. But essentially a big part of it is somebody else, their hand was on my capability to succeed. That's why I started out, asking you about your mission. Because, I really do hope that with this podcast, I can kind of like break the chains for some people. Whatever's been holding them back, I really want you to be able to let yourself free. I want you to be able to take, the entire gospel music mission and turn it into a nuclear bomb that like just shakes the very foundation of America. Yeah. I mean, especially because I'm not sure if you've been seeing it, but there's been quite a revival going on. I mean, Denzel Washington, he just became a minister.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like There's a lot of big moves that have been going on in the Christian community in general. As a Christian, I'm definitely doing my best to be tapped in. So it's like, yeah, bro, I'm seeing it. And if you're about to be one of the people, one of the headhunters out there, really fighting for the kingdom,
That's what I've been doing since.
I'm telling you,
I've been calling
bro.
the lost sheep to come back home.
Well, that's it, bro. Like, we got to get everybody back to the kingdom, but the only way that we can do that, bro, is we got to be aggressive.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Our enemy's aggressive.
Mm-hmm.
He's real aggressive.
Yeah.
He's so aggressive that he's nonchalant about it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So I definitely understand how that can be. Lastly, I wanted to go ahead and ask you,
Okay.
So of course, usually I would ask next, do you believe in God? Of course,
Yes.
you do.
Yes.
So I'm actually going to change the question up a little bit on the fly.
Okay, no problem.
What's the difference between God and Allah? As my boy Ali would say, was goody. I'm not sure if y'all tapped in yet, but this is a City Flooders hat. If you want your logo, your brand, you got a cup, you got a chain, you got a hat, you got a shirt, just go ahead and reach out to me in the comments below, or you can hit my inbox. Peace.
Okay, as a Christian, is God, but Muslim call it Allah. But they believe it's still the same. But God is God. God don't have two. It is only one God, and that is God, the Alpha and the Omega, the beginning and the ending, the first and the last.
Me personally, I'm one to I'm definitely always, I can't lie, I'm always teetering on that subject because I do know that, through Ishmael came their whole civilization, Abraham did have him and Isaac. I understand the difference in the delegations, the understanding of how Jesus came out of the house of David and all of that. Equally, I do understand that it is just simply a different dialect. It is Arab. Like, it's the same word, but it's the word in Arabic. And I guess that's something that I have always struggled with because, for two people to observe God without being able to come to an agreement in the actual perspective of what God is. I think a lot of that comes from not having Christ. You know what I'm saying? Rules were a lot different from Ishmael down his line rather than, Isaac and down his line. So it's interesting that, you kind of broke that down a bit because that's something that I think a lot of people struggle with. I think a lot of people, when they do, have their Muslim counterparts, who do use that terminology, or, people are bringing up, how they feel about the difference between the two terms, then they don't necessarily know why they feel how they feel. They just know, like, a lot of Christians will just be like, well, like, God is God. Like, it's two different things.
Yeah.
But they'll say it's two different things without realizing that, the enemy has put a lot of confusion in there, because it's the same thing. It means the same thing,
Well, it is not the same
but their
thing.
understanding is different. Yeah, the two deities are different because of their nature.
Okay.
You can't say that Allah is God
No.
if the God that Abraham was serving isn't the same moral compass of the God that,
The one for Ishmael.
yes.
Okay, this is the difference. They say that Allah said that they should kill for Allah before they can enter paradise. And that is why they slaughter and they shout Allah before they do that. But God said, thou shalt not kill and thou shalt not steal. So you see the difference? It means it is not the same.
Yeah, that's deep.
And I was born a Muslim.
What?
Yes. I was born a Muslim. Yes.
That's interesting. That's deep. That's deep. That's deep. Wow. Well, yeah. I mean, I definitely do appreciate your understanding on the topic. Especially because I'm sure that that's something that kind of racks a lot of people's brains a lot. Even me myself. I'm not gonna lie. Amen. Amen in the chat. We got a Jesus is real coming from my sister. So I gotta ask you. I know I said lastly. This is my actual final question. I'm not gonna bother you anymore after this. Have you cut my merch yet?
Yes.
You have?
Yeah.
All right, bet. I did. I have to throw it in there. That's just my thing. I got to bring up my merch, the JRAEL 317. I'm the only one who's trying to get the 317 to heaven. You heard me. I'm not even going to say that because that's cap. But, I thank you for coming out here and being on my first podcast. I didn't know what I was doing 10 minutes ago. So I'm glad that it's all came together. This sounded pretty good. This sounded pretty good, right? Right? You know what I'm saying? Powered by Numbers Media. I gotta say they definitely came in clutch. The man with the plan, Andrew Hunt. Give a round of applause for Andrew Hunt. Definitely appreciate you, boss. And altogether, it's definitely been a blessing.
It is.
Wow, man, hold up. we're gonna do something real quick, because I have to put this in there. I'm gonna switch everything around when I edit this, but I gotta figure this out first. Let's take a moment and break down your mission.
Okay.
All right, we're good. Cut. I gotta put that in before I say the mission thing, because that's like the whole point of the podcast is instead of let me get a minute, it's supposed to be like let's take a moment.
Well, you said that at the beginning. You said
I did.
What's your mission?
I did, but I didn't say let's take a moment. Like I have to have like the moniker in there, but yeah.
Drop a full project out the blue, hope y'all ready for action. Prepare myself to